Just one touch and I'm lost inside your love. Just one touch means more than words can say. Just one touch and I know I'm gonna stay for always.
Well, it's Friday. I think it's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. Yes. Texas Danny is going to be jumping on a little bit.
Texas Danny. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday, and I see him in the chat. So I sent him the link so he can jump on. Just to chat. And I thought I want to chat a little bit when he jumps on. I love his feedback on numbers, on land that changes, but the big topics, of course, the virus. The two biggest topics, is conspiracy wise, is the virus and the 5G network.
Yeah.
Okay. So and I want to talk about the 5G network because I used to work, for 15 years in the cable company that actually deals with phone towers and all that. So that I do have an opinion on it, and I thought maybe if somebody can hear an opinion from somebody who actually worked in the industry, that kind of worked with it, that kind of knows about it. And then I could kind of try to give my honest opinion about the whole 5G network. Is there a conspiracy? Is there? Because there is videos. People have videos of some areas where they have turned on the 5G, and the 5G has been known to kill birds and stuff. I mean, there's. I'm not saying if that footage is real or not, but there's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff to break down, for simple people, what is 5G, what is 4G, what is 3G. And so it could be confusing. It really could.
I like it. It's ironic. Because I went to college for anthropology, archaeology, and we're in the middle of this fucking crazy ass Mandela world. And you were a big ass boss at a fucking cable company, and you started off as a cable guy. You used to climb the poles. You did everything. You did everything to do with any communication systems with a cable service, and you're like you could do an when you say I'm doing an educated guess. Believe me, people that are watching, that Eric was Mr. Cable Guy. Well, he was Mr. Cable Guy.
I started disconnecting people. Hey, I don't have a link. Oh, but what does he say? Texas Danny says, hey, I don't have a link, so I think at least not on this phone. Well, even on the phone, Texas, if you click on the link, even on the phone, the link should take you to your browser and automatically log you on. Because I could do this link on an iPad, on my phone. So the link should work even on the phone. So, okay. So basically, in typical terms, there is a lot of big shows going on right now. So, I'm not expecting any big, huge turnout. They're doing Brian Staveley's doing a cool interview with Ted Summer, who actually is on our show a lot. Not on it, but he watches our show a lot. So, so I understand. We all support each other. Hey, there's Michael Healy. Welcome, Michael Healy. But before I talk about this 5G, I was actually there's a question I got for you, Bob, real quick.
Yeah.
Monday. Are you free to do a show on Monday?
Shit, let me think about that.
Just think about it, because I have a guy named Jason that does paranormal house hauntings, chasing, and all that kind of stuff. And he can only come on Monday. So just let me know.
I can do it. Good God, dude. How much weight did you lose?
Who is that?
Texas. How much weight did you lose? Man, what's your freaking... What are you, like a little skinny guy now? You lost all your weight.
Man, I'm still fat and chubby, man. I mean, the body silhouette is essentially the same, even though I'm doing this number all over the place. Yeah. Yeah.
You look like you've lost a lot of weight.
Huh?
You look totally different, man. You look like I know we ain't shifted that much crazy, but you look totally different.
Well, I got my clean white T-shirt on, and I got my army hat on. You know,
classic.
I woke up about a half hour ago. I just literally got to this thing on time.
No problem. Hey, Danny, have you seen a lot of videos out there talking about the big 5G conspiracy?
A little bit about them. I just skimmed them.
So what I'm going to do, Danny, I'm actually going to be talking about some 5G, and then of course you guys could put in your input while I try to explain the best I can, because I used to work in the communication industry for over 15 to 17 years, where I was saying in the beginning that I started as a person who disconnected people's cable, who installed people's cable, who fixed people's cable.
Yep.
Then I learned how to splice fiber. I spliced fiber. I became a supervisor. And then at one time, I was actually a technical operations manager for a couple cable companies. So what I'm telling people is I know my communication stuff. So I'm not just bullshitting people about the 5G stuff. Now, people think 5G, 4G, 3G is mostly wireless phones, right? It's all wireless phones. Everything is wireless. But what people don't understand is wireless phones is not completely wireless, okay? Your phone is wireless to a tower, okay? But that tower is hooked up hardline into a head end or a hub, okay? Where the head end hub in typical terms is a head end is a brain that gives all the information out and shoots it all out to towers. And then from a tower, it's wireless to your phones. Kind of like when you have wireless internet in your house. You have a cable wire coming into your house, goes into your modem, then your modem is hooked up to a wireless router, and it shoots out into your house, correct?
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, in simple terms, that's how a basic system works. Now, you can have a tower broadcast to another tower wireless. It's called line of sight, okay? But when you have a line of sight, you can't really do 4G, 5G, because all 5G is faster speeds versus 4G and 3G. Yeah. Now, there's actually fake 5G and real 5G. You can actually manipulate cable signals. You can manipulate it. So like T-Mobile is broadcasting that we're 5G everywhere. No, not really. They just put in some little processors in their little towers that maybe makes it a little faster, where they could say it's a fast 5G network, but it's really not. It's really fake. You can actually have fake 5G, where a real 5G network is basically more fiber versus an average RF cable signal. Now, you guys remember in the old days, right? Cable TV, it was all RF signal, right?
Yeah.
It was all RF signal, and I'm not gonna try to get too nerdy on it, because I know I worked there. You know, I know it, but most people don't know it. Okay, so RF signals basically radio frequencies, right? It's basically the way they broadcast frequencies to TVs and all that. And now, of course, we're living in the world where most everything has gone enough analog, has transferred into digital. Now, and the reason went to digital is, now a lot of people thinking, well, digital is so the cable companies can shut you off without disconnecting you. You know how, because in the old days, you could just put a splitter and you can split the cable 5 times. Now, your signal might be weak, but you can splice cable and you get free TV in a bedroom. Now, digital, you can't, because you got to have a box. You got to have a cable box to descramble a digital signal. So a lot of people think it's a conspiracy by the cable company, but it's really not, okay? Because let me explain it. An RF signal, let me break it down in the basics. You could on one cable TV channel on an RF signal, say Fox News, one RF signal, okay? If you got rid of one RF signal, you could put 10 digital channels to every one RF TV signal.
Oh.
Or 3 to 4 HD singles on one cable channel. So when you hear cable channels are going all digital, it's because they can't upgrade the whole system. So they get rid of the RF signal and go a pure digital format, and that allows them to give you 200 channels, 100 HD channels, because RF signal takes more bandwidth versus digital and HD. Okay, so 5G is basically more fiber, because fiber is the best. The speed of light sends more signal out versus
fiber optics. Yeah,
fiber optics. Okay, versus an RF signal. Now, outside my house, we're connected with an RF single cable wire, but it's connected to an amplifier, which can transfer it back into transfer it back to fiber signal. So from a hub, it could go fiber to an amplifier and back to an RF signal to your house, and it gives you the speeds. Okay, so to pull off a 5G conspiracy, which it could be done, any conspiracy could be done. It could be done. It can't be getting done, but you would need so many fucking people involved in pulling this off. Okay,
yeah.
because every tower. I'm not a good drawer, guys. Okay,
Drawer.
So every hold on. I know I can't draw good. Every tower.
Okay.
So every tower has a hard line to a hub, to a head end, right? Every tower has to be connected to a hub. Okay.
Okay.
Now, why these companies don't own those fibers? You can't own every single fiber. So like Iberian, there's a hub. There's a head end hub in Iberian, right? So say you have a tower you put in Tukwila, next town over, and you need to connect that tower to Iberian's head end, town over. Now you just can't put in fiber. Just, I'm going to put in fiber to it. It doesn't work that way. You got to get city regulations. You got to get you got to get passes. You got to get permits. I mean, it's almost next to impossible. So where cable companies make their money, cable companies don't make their money off of TV, internet, and phone off of you.
Oh,
TV almost breaks the cable company. They lose money on TV. They actually do make a little bit money on internet because you need less supplies, less stuff. And of course, back in the day when telephone, you could get through the cable wire, used to be big money. Of course, that's gone. Their big money is allowing other companies to use their fiber.
Oh.
So for like Verizon Tower, so you have a Verizon Tower in Des Moines. So Verizon Tower might have to rent from Comcast, and then maybe Comcast doesn't reach there. Maybe then you have the other phone company here, CenturyLink. You might have to rent 2-3 different companies to be able to send your signal from this tower to that head end. So what I'm trying to say is, you're
renting a space. You're renting a fiber. So you're basically renting an apartment in a tube. Okay, we're renting one of your fibers. Okay.
So you're renting fibers. Okay. Now, that's why, like most cities, there's only maybe 1 or 2 cable companies at most, because you can't just put in a cable system anywhere unless it's wireless. But DirecTV, that's different. That's a different story. So you have to have special permission to even put fiber, to even open a cable company. That's why there's a lot of areas, like if you live on this block, it's Comcast. If you live on this block over here in Washington, it's Wave Cable. And there might be a few sections where you can either get both, but most of the time it's either one or the other, because cable companies got to pay money to the cities to be able to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
So to be able to pull off the hoax, not hoax, but to pull off anything with 5G network, I mean, you have to get so many companies involved, because it's just not all Verizon. It's Verizon going through CenturyLink. It's going through Comcast. And now that's a major companies. Now there's private companies that have fiber too. So it's like railroad
Okay.
tracks. You know this. Like there's railroad tracks is not even used in the ground. Did you know that even though the railroad tracks are not used in the ground, but the city has to pay whoever owns those railroad tracks money, even if it's not used, because any part where there's a railroad track in the ground, they own it.
Yeah.
They own it. So fiber is owned by most other companies. So to pull something like this off, you have to get so many companies involved, or it just ain't gonna work. I mean, does that kind of make sense?
May use the financial system though. They can use the financial system to get around things.
Oh yeah,
Banks.
yeah. I'm not saying it's impossible, but like 9/11, right? 9/11 is one event. So that's technically, my opinion, it's easier to plan a 9/11 attack because it's one event where continuing an attack using 5G, because that's a continuing business. You got to continue paying money. Now, some people say, well, maybe it's alien technology. Now, alien technology, if there's aliens, of course, they could break into 4G, 3G. Doesn't have to be 5G. So there's a lot that has to be done to be able to take over a 5G network to, say, kill birds. I'm not saying it's impossible, but there's a lot of involvement you got to get with companies to get on board what you're doing.
So anybody... Oh, go ahead, Danny.
Anything about the power being boosted out, like the radio waves or anything else in the atmosphere might be more significantly powerful, and that may affect the human mind or something like that?
I mean, since I worked, we have spliced fiber to 4G network towers. I've done it myself. Companies, Verizon has paid us, AT&T Broadband has paid us to splice, and we hook up the power. We hook up the amplifiers that pushes the power to get it where they need it. And I mean, the ones that we've done, there was not even 1% of a radiation that could hurt us. I'm just saying, can it? I guess it can, but the experience that I've been around, there was no dangers at all. But they could also be lying to us too. I mean, I'm not saying they can't be lying. So, 5G is something I have to look more into, trying to see, how are they pulling this off? Because that's the question, Bob. Remember I always say, say you can pull it off. How can they pull it off?
Well, number one, let's back it up. Let's break it down. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Now, the box, we hooked up the fiber into the tower. Now, that box is owned by that company like Verizon. Yes, they can put stuff in there. They can put stuff. I mean, if you can find a way to change the frequency where it affects the bird's ears, yeah. I mean, you could technically kill birds if you do the signal through the ears that a human can't hear, but a bird might be able to hear. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That would be hard because the power is regulated by the power companies and the cable companies. So it's not like Verizon can just turn on more power just like that. It doesn't work that way.
You work with everybody else renting a line, basically.
Yeah,
if everybody's renting a line in the tube, you just can't turn yours up without affecting everybody else's.
Because to turn power on through fiber, I mean, from one tower to head in, you can have 20 amplifiers in the middle, and every amplifier has to be set to be able to handle a certain amount of power. So it's a big, huge take.
Okay.
Even turn up the power. Because like I said, I work in the field. I've seen it. So it's not like I'm just making it up. I have spliced fiber to 4G networks. And the only difference is 4G to 5G is more fiber to allow more bandwidth. That's all it is. Because a certain amount of wires can only handle so much bandwidth. Kind of like if you have every single buddy using internet in your town at the exact same moment, everything slows down because you only have a certain amount of bandwidth. Now 4G, more cell phones are out there, more bandwidth you're taking up. So to create 5G, you got to create more fiber. You have more bandwidth. And once you have more bandwidth, then you can create your box, make it stronger. Like I said, there's a lot of fake 5G network out there too, where they're not adding more fiber. They're just using newer technology to scramble the signal more, to pack in more. Because look, listen, you could technically no, I told you 10 digital channels to 1 analog.
Okay.
You could technically do 20 digital channels to 1 analog, but you're compressing it more and you're creating it more fuzzy. But you can still get it. You can still get it to your TV, but you're compressing it more. You could do that with phone towers too. To say you got 5G, but you don't really have 5G. You're just compressing
data.
Okay, you're talking about picture resolution, right? Picture resolution? You're talking about picture resolution, right?
Yes. Uh-huh. Now, some people are saying like this, questions, what does it do to humans, 5G? Now, that's the thing, Lisa. I don't know exactly, but that's what the conspiracies are coming out of. People are saying there's dead animals, there's radiation in the air. That's what's going on out there. I can't back up any of those claims personally because I've been around 4G and nothing has ever happened to me. But I'm not saying they're not using 5G as a weapon. It could, but it takes a shitload of people to make this one really take off like a weapon. Not just the government, private sector. I mean, everybody.
Where our area is devoid of birds. You know, that concerns me. There's small birds are gone.
Yeah. Now, remember power lines. They say that if you live next to those big power poles lines, that can give you radiation and cancer. So, I mean, there's something for everything out there.
Yeah, EMF. I had an EMF detector, electronic meter, whatever. Well, it's an electrical frequency. It radiates off of all the towers. It's supposed to be that bleeding frequency that it's supposed to actually cause you anxiety.
It can.
Anxiety. All kinds of bad things. It's supposed to help manifest ghosts. I mean, there's all kinds of stories with those things. But I do know that it does cause. I know from reading studies, it is proven that everything's debatable, but I can say that it can cause anxiety. I can see that how it's inside of you the whole time.
Yeah, because it doesn't take that much power to run a 4G or 5G network. It really doesn't. I mean, that's why most cable companies got car batteries. Yes, when power goes down, like say your power company goes down. The cable company actually has car batteries in different spots near poles. To keep the cable system going until people's power on. So if you got a generator, you can actually still watch TV at home. And one of the biggest things about the cable company is we keep on getting those batteries stolen because people take those batteries and sell it to places and make money. So
good batteries.
But it's not impossible to put something inside those boxes to change the frequency, where some frequencies you can make it where it can hurt birds. I mean, that is possible.
Yeah, we've got black raven birds, anything black feathered, right? We got black feathered, and we have pigeons, and maybe one other type of it. Our small birds, they're vanished.
Huh. I wonder if they know, Danny. I mean, you know as anyone else, probably the best one that knows it, that the North Pole keeps moving. And I know that the birds are migrant and they do follow north. They go north. I always joke about go north. The birds know north, but when that north keeps moving, and when we look at our watches and we do that time test where it's speeding the fuck up, and that North Pole keeps fucking changing. Now, I know for a fact it's changing all the time because I'm always outside looking at my compass, and the goddamn thing's always off.
Now, guys, I have a different conspiracy on this that I think that's really going on. Okay, like Mike wrote, 5G can cause flu-like symptoms as well. I think the power companies are easier to control versus the 5G networks because you're dealing with a lot of different things to make it work. A lot of different parties, a lot of different. Now, power companies only answer to themselves and the city. So wherever they're installing 5G, now since they need to add some power lines to maybe help power it up, they might be the ones who are doing things. Covering up, saying, well, it's not us, it's because the 5G's here.
It's the woman in the red dress, the 5G towers. The woman in the red dress.
It's
over
easier
there.
to
Power
pull
companies
off.
make a
Dude.
lot of
It's
money.
easier to pull off with the power company than a 5G
Oh, there's
fiber
just-
network.
I've got a lot of suspicions about the power company. There is a lot of misleading going on. I know it from England, and I know how this shit's working, and I know about power, and I know how to pay the power. America, we pay our bill every month. We know how it fluctuates or whatever bullshit. We see how I know the meter. I know the whole thing about the power. Over here in England, they pay. I joke about how they pay like $10 today, $15 tomorrow. They have a key. They can just they pay on their key. They go home and put it in their power. They turn the key, and they've got another 5 days of power they paid for, like gas, like you're buying gas. Power goes out. They have like an emergency 3-4 hours. They go down and pay maybe $10 more on their power. That's how they pay their power bill. Or they have the option to pay it the whole thing at the month. But a lot of people will just pay it with a key. They'll pay their power on their key, put it in their fucking wall, and turn it. It's a fascinating thing. Now, I go to the malls, and you've got all these fucking guys wanting to sell you new power. Like, what are you talking about? I couldn't wait to talk to one of these guys. I'm like, tell me about your power. He says, we can switch you to our power. We can switch you to our power. What's that?
Different companies had that before I jumped.
Yeah,
Different companies.
we can switch you to our power, and then blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We can save you money here and there. I go, well, wait a minute now. Are you coming out to the house? Are you getting into some fucking thing? Are you changing the wires over? Are you redirecting? From what area are you redirecting? How can you just change your power company just by signing your name? There's nobody coming to your house.
You'd be surprised
Where's
what
it
they
routed from? And then I went to some power places that you used to work. They're all down. This like it's a ghost yard. They're just. I go. These things aren't on. No, I know when power is on because I've always had an anxiety thing. Danny might know what I'm talking about. You could feel the fucking power, man.
Yeah, you can feel power.
Feel it, but these things are on. I go. Where is the power coming from? And we drove out the country and said, well, here's the large, the wind power turbine power. I go, you've got about 20 of them. It's powering this area, but how are you able to purchase this power at this town fucking way down the fucking boondocks and tap into their power? I go, this is not making sense for power distribution. Where is the power coming from? I can't find it. I can't find it.
Trust me, it's all possible.
Where's the power coming from? There's no hydro power system here. What's that, Danny?
It may be an administrative system. I always try to figure it out myself. I said they got to be using the same network, but it must be an administrative system. Like one power company is different from the other, and administration and what they own and how they own it. I just kind of patchwork guessing.
Right. They could probably share it. You guys ever heard of I don't know if they're still around. Remember, you guys ever heard of AT&T Universe? It used to be called AT&T Universe Cable, where you could get it in certain towns. It's because they borrowed the telephone system lines to be able to give it to you, kind of like internet way. So you can use other lines. It's kind of weird how that works. You know the city of Tacoma, Bob?
Yeah.
Their power company, the Tacoma Power Company, can also now give you cable TV. Did you know that?
No. Is it probably through the fiber optic?
Is part of the thing they do is when they hook up TV to, they hook it up to your power meter. Because what they do is everybody's house, right? Everybody has a power meter, right? So they're hooking up lines to every single power meter, if you want cable or not. And of course, they're telling people that with this, you'll be able to get our TV too if you want it through us. But what they really want is more control over how much power is going into your house so they can charge you more or make sure you're not stealing power. Because power is, my opinion, the bigger enemy than the 5G. Because 5G is powered through the power company themselves. So
yes, that's what I was saying.
You're hearing humming sounds and stuff. The humming sounds is not necessary. It might be coming from might sound like it's coming from your amplifier for your cable part, but the power is fed off the power company. So a lot of times you're hearing that humming, it's it looks like it's coming from you, but it's based on the power company themselves. They are the real enemy of the world versus 5G cable systems and all that stuff.
5G to me is the woman in the red dress, the red herring. It's a deliberate, and I don't care if people think I'm crazy or not. I had no power. There's no problem in fucking goddamn 5G. It's made up bullshit. There's no fucking things wrong with them fucking things. You described it perfectly. There's just a big old box with a big ass router with rented fiber optics that they can't possibly do any more than they normally do.
Now, see, Bob, here's a question right here. Question. So when is 5G supposed to be turned on everywhere? Well, people got to understand is 5G is not something is turning on everywhere. It's the companies like Verizon, AT&T that building the towers is upgrading the fiber. So they're the ones who's launching it. So it's not like it's run by the government. They're just turning on 5G. It's everywhere. It's still an individual company's deal. Well,
when is it going to be the norm?
I guess when they get all the fiber.
That's why like 5G you'll see in cities before you see in the suburbs. Because why would you upgrade the suburb to a 5G network when you're not really going to make no money off that person when you could build it into cities and stuff where you got 5 million people? So that's why you see cities and stuff turn on first. And then because it costs a lot more money to upgrade rural areas. That's why like in a standard cable system, we go up to 1,000 megahertz. 1,000 megahertz allows you to have all these channels. But most of the suburbs are 450 megahertz. Because to upgrade them, to give them the full max, you will never gain profit or gain your returns with only 5 people living in a 10-mile radius versus city that you have 100,000 people in a 10 people radius. So if you really are afraid of 5G, if you're really afraid of power companies, move out to the rural areas. Because they don't make enough money off of you out there. You're not.
I fought with the power company because I was going to put it in my backyard. Remember, I was going to put in my own, build my own. I have a large, huge antenna in my backyard and a large pole. We have a nice mellow breeze. I was going to build my own power bot or my own windmill. You could use your alternator. You can make them out of alternators, man. And your car batteries and alternators. You can make your. I was at work. I work with fucking NASA guys, Boeing guys. They were making their own. They're using parts from fucking all different machines with alternators, including like anyway. I don't want to give away too much information. But they were using. You can make these things easy, and so I was talking to the power company about I wanted to do my own power. I don't want your power no more because. I wasn't broke. I wasn't running any power. I shut everything off by myself in a house. I have one room with power on. That's all I need.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Well, I have to let me answer this question because this person was lied to. This person named Betty Wolf wrote, I will say I had to replace my modem last year. I asked the installer, when is 5G coming out? He answered, this is 5G. I'll tell you, Betty. That cable guy does not know what the fuck he's talking about. Cable modem has nothing to do with 5G, 4G technology. That's wireless. This is the modem. The modem just maxes the amount of frequency signal that's coming from your pole outside. It has nothing to do with 5G. So that cable guy doesn't know his shit at all. So your modem has nothing to do with the 5G, 4G network at all. I just wanted to say that. It does have nothing to do with it. Now sometimes like my house, I get a terabyte of speed now. I got like the fastest speeds that's connected to fiber. Yes, I need a different cable modem to be able to give me that 1 TB, but that has nothing to do with the 5G. Nothing. Wow. The only thing a cable company does for 5G is allow maybe install fiber to the towers so they can rent it off of them. That's why like Comcast now offers cell phone services. They should, because they own most all the fibers that are hooked up to these towers. So I am surprised what took cable companies so long to start offering phone services. because they own almost 80% of all fibers that's hooked up to. So a lot of people say, like Wade Broadband, the last cable company I worked for, they're like a small company, right? You're thinking they're small. They only have a total of 300,000 customers in all 4 states that they're in. Only 300,000, where Comcast has 20 million. But where Wave Cable is making their money is they own so much fiber. They bought fiber. They rent it to these cell phone companies are paying big money to rent your fiber to get you faster speeds.
Well, like they can provide the infrastructure, right?
Yes. You buy the infrastructure, and then that's where the money is when you build stuff inside the infrastructure, because you can't just put in any fiber in like Seattle. If you try to add, like Google wants to add fiber to areas, Google just can't walk into Seattle and say, we're gonna throw fiber. Hell no. You gotta pay money, you gotta buy permits, and to get a permit is like next to impossible, because what cities do with cable companies, okay, we're going to keep you, but you have to pay us this amount. It's all about freaking money, guys.
Wow.
That's universal. They ain't going to stop.
It's not going to stop. So that's where your biggest conspiracy is: who owns the infrastructure of it all, not just who owns the tower that's launching 5G. Verizon, that's not the big money, is who owns the fiber to broadcast it. Now, if you have a conspiracy where you want to add these frequencies to kill birds, you got to pay big money to the cable companies to be able to use their fiber to shoot that signal down to kill birds. So everybody is making money off of it. It's one big money bank scam.
It's like, what's the benefit of killing the birds? You have to get rid of your business. You get birds out there, all of a sudden, oh, there's the problem. We need to get rid of it. The companies will go fucking tits up. I'm like, why would they put something out to kill anything if they're going to go tits up? Why would you put millions and billions of dollars into something that's going to be shut down?
Yeah. And people,
you don't do that.
I was an installer, but I was a technical operations manager that was in charge with a lot of this stuff. So I know what I'm talking about.
I know you do.
There's a slight chance to deal with the birds. I think that's a slight issue with the power companies. I don't know. I just don't see them being involved in that. But it's possible, but I just think it's slight.
I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys my Comcast suit for a second. I still have it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Danny, I think it's more in your field. I think it's the geological or the geography changes. I think it's the north, and I've been playing with that fucking compass, and that north has been wavering. And
I've been seeing it. Like, Robert, I got my stuff down as what I'm thinking is going on. I think I've got it nailed, but with some a huge chunk of percentage of leeway there as to what way it's going to go. The power companies, I believe they're a slight suspect. I mean, a very real one, a slight suspect in this. They may be a factor, but I don't know if it's exclusively them. But yeah, the direction of the bird, the North Pole, makes sense to me. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm board with you on that one.
Yeah, if I'm a betting man, that's where I'm putting my money. I'm putting my money on your area. It's the north. It's the changing north. That's where I'm putting my money on. Oh, there it is. Look at there.
What? Which one is that? What does that say?
Comcast.
Oh, Comcast. Yeah.
I worked for Comcast for over 12 years.
And Eric became a boss. He was a boss. He was a motherfucking boss at Comcast.
I bet you guys never seen this kind of suit. This is a thick ass suit that when we used to work on fibers and stuff, that if you don't do fiber correctly, it's glass. And that glass will get into your skin. So this helps with the protection. And when it's like 20 degrees below zero, this helps you with the cold. Because they want you to keep you going. They want your system to keep going.
Yeah. I was ripping off the cable company for a very long time. I had a
You're on the phone to them all the time.
I had a black box.
You're on the phone to them all the time.
Yeah, and I had Eric.
On your show.
I had a legal black box to get all this free stuff for a little while, and then I got a box from an employee from Eric's workplace who already had his own key put into it, so I get any cable, fucking any channel. And then I had Eric go up in his fucking thing and run wires up to my house. They're like, pay for cable? I've never paid for cable. Fuck that. I had every channel fucking cable. Eric fucking juiced me up.
Now, this person wrote, Gypsy wrote, so what about the hotspots coming out of the modems? Now, the word hotspot, you got to be careful with the word hotspot because people just throw that word around like everything has hotspots. Now, technically what a hotspot really is, let me show you guys this. Hold on.
Oh, there we go. He knows his shit.
I believe it, man. Sounds like it. Man, that's something about optics, man. Fiber, optics, crystals, all that kind of stuff is very interesting right now. As how it's applied.
It is the technology. It is the present technology. We're all going fiber optics. Light moves faster through fiber. Silicone fiber. It moves faster than copper. It moves way faster than copper. It moves right through the fiber.
Did we go off for a second?
No, you just been glitchy.
Hey, Danny, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Well, we went off for a second because I accidentally caused us to go off in a second. Because, okay, you guys see this right here? So, Betty,
yeah.
you see this? Now, Betty, do you have this, Betty? This is what you basically call a hotspot. Okay. So basically, Betty, what it is I don't know if you have this or not. If the cable guy told you got hotspots, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because what a hotspot is basically a lot of big houses have dead spots. Okay, where the signal can't really reach. So you hook up these little hotspots in areas like I have this down here where this computer is. It takes the signal and makes it stronger. So now my bedroom has become a hotspot. Now I'm gonna plug this back in. So this is what caused this to go off for a second. It was me, my fault. I just want to show you guys.
That's a good example.
This is a hotspot. So remember, signal can't reach everywhere in the house depending on the size of your house. So these take the cable signal and makes it stronger. Now people say that can this cause radiation? Well, I guess any single frequency in the air, I guess you can say it can.
Electricity.
I'm going to plug this back in for a second.
I can see that. My ship had electricity flowing through it several times. At 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. You took your hands off anything metal because it was like the rad meter was going off all the time.
So I apologize, everybody, if we went off for a second. I just wanted to show a person what a hotspot device looks like. Every company has their own little devices. That's not the only kind, but that's actually the Comcast hotspot device. So, and of course, there's also modems now can like give you access. Like I could give you access to my modem. Then I have an access where I could get to guests for people as guests, where they don't have that much permission like I give you. So maybe that's what she's talking about. But sounds like Betty, you had a cable guy who just does not know what the fuck he's talking about. Got to remember, most installers in cable companies, guys, have only been there a year or less. So they're babies. They don't know the ins and out of a cable company. So a lot of times they want to sound smart, but they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And there's people who think they read everything about frequencies and all that, and they know more than everybody else. Listen, I worked with it, and I'm not saying there's no radiation from it. If there is, why am I still here? Because I did fiber. I spliced fiber. I did it all. I told them,
you were listening to long-term health.
Motherfuckers sold their company and laid me off.
Eric's fucking life, dude. That's Eric's life, Danny. He gets a job.
What the administration things. It's weird.
Eric always gets it. Eric always hits the job as the boss. He hits supervisor. Eric hits the boss. And then inevitably, I'm Eric. How long is this going to last? And not a short time, but sometime later, all of a sudden the company gets bought out by another company. Boom! Yeah. Eric loses his job.
Yeah, get this, Texas. Get this, Danny. this really happened to me, Danny. Okay, so when Wave Cable wanted me from Comcast to be a manager for their shop, I took the job, right? So I moved back to Washington. I got out of Maryland because I hated fucking Maryland. Got out of Maryland. I moved to Washington, right? So then Wade bought out another cable company called Broadstripe, a piece of shit company by Martin Luther King Street in Seattle, the gutter area. Shit. So they asked me if I would transfer there, okay, to help them out, because I know what I was doing. Okay, so they gave me a little raise. So I moved my family, bought a house near Seattle. Change it around. We changed it around. I got net promoter score. I switched it from negative to positive, like 400% up. Okay, year later. Fucking Wade Broadband sold to a new investor group. They come in after all the shit that I did. I moved for them in a year. I moved. They said, "Well, we don't need 3 managers, so we're gonna have to let you go."
Yeah, it's the money people. It's the money people thing.
I moved. I was happy in Port Orchard. I was happy in that little country town. I was doing good. Everything was cheap. I decided to move back near the city of Seattle for them. And then that's not like you can sell a house in Port Orchard because the market there is not like Seattle. So I have to rent out a house. I can't sell it. It's not a buying market out there. So it's like I did all this just for them to lay me off. And after turn, because when they hired people, I don't know if you guys ever heard this term. I call them desperate hires. Is where a company needs bodies so bad they just hire anybody. So they hire dirt bags. So I had to come in and get rid of all these dirt bags. I know I sound cruel. I turned around, got rid of dirt bags, piece of shit people, solid people, got the company going good just to get fucking laid off.
It's always the money.
Well, I like this is how I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about it like this. And it took all of that to give you your education and experience to do these things. So when this big event happened, we like to call the Mandela effect to happen, you can go out on camera and you can openly tell people with full 100% honesty and pure hard work behind it to support it that you know how these things work and run. You know it. Oddly enough, 5G would come about, and here you are, Eric Wood, somebody who knows all about 5G. You can sit there and squash any of the bullshit that's going on and all the hysteria. You can say, let me slow you down and explain to you exactly what you are entailing or what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
The same thing, I went to school for anthropology. I can say a lot of this bullshit. You're saying bullshit. Danny has his expertise. Danny's like, let me explain to you guys some things that you might not know. This is bullshit. This is happening like this and this and this. That's it.
Listen,
get rid of all the rest of the garbage. This is just what's happening.
I have every reason to hate the cable companies and try to make it even worse for them. But like I said, to pull a big conspiracy with 5G, that's a big. I'm not saying it can't be done, but you gotta have a lot of pieces in place to be able to pull off something huge. Now, an alien abduction, they got technology, they could do anything, but regular humans, that's a lot, man. So when I hear stories that maybe he's killing birds, I would really have to investigate it to the max to see, is it really the 5G or is it the power company that's with it is actually doing it and they're using the 5G as an excuse?
Yeah.
Because it takes a power company to power the 5G.
What would they kill birds for?
Yeah, what would they kill birds for?
Somewhere in the UK, there was actually a footage of a person driving around and they just turned on the 5G. They just turned it on. And I guess in this neighborhood, there was dead birds. So I'm not saying that didn't happen, but it could be the power company had the power on wrong, that they had it too strong. I mean, it's so I can't say honestly that it was because of the 5G. There's a lot of things that have to happen for that to happen.
Would it be something that's broadcast into the atmosphere that's bothering the birds? Yeah, or like in the navigation system.
You can create you can create any frequencies to mess up your brain. You can create a frequency where your hearing is gone, lost. So you gotta find out what's that. It's like megahertz. Like each a cable channel. There used to be a cable channel. 55 megahertz would be channel CBS. So if you can find that frequency that affects the birds, Yeah, that's possible. You can.
Well, they have it.
But
They're
that's
using it.
But that has to be something that's done inside the machine box on the tower where it's taking your signal and changing that frequency because it's not the cable company. Otherwise, because you don't want to kill off your customers because you need their money.
Yeah, it's
Follow the money.
You know, the Navy SEALs use those weapons. They're using them now. They use them in Somalia. Now, people talk about the 5G 5G bullshit. I saw them. It's in Somalian pirates were raiding. Everyone knows the stories about Somalian pirates were raiding the ships. And I'm on the Somalian side, by the way. Those guys were getting fucking ripped off on their own fishing grounds. They're getting jacked by fucking elites. Yeah.
Real quick, Bob, read this. So much power is running through those towers, like 200 times more power than it needs. Now, that's a good saying right there because that's not the 5G network part. That's the power company that's giving it too much power because you can't steal more power than the power company will give you. Because, like you said, Bob, in your area, a power company can switch you to another company.
Switch another company.
They can control how much power you will receive. So if it's 200 times more power, it's from the power company, not the network.
Yeah.
Eric, can they deviate that for like the market? Like when we need no signal boost gain to Seattle or Dallas or Chicago, they can do that when it's like a financial opportunity, at a real close time interval.
So you broke up in the beginning. I didn't hear the first part.
Well, yeah, can they manipulate, right? The boost gain signal, right, to go into an area that's more market rich.
Yeah. They can manipulate it. Yes, you can manipulate boost signals. Yeah. Oh, definitely, because each amplifier that's connected between 2 points, like point here, you have an amplifier. Each amplifier has little like your car has fuses. They have fuses in them to allow a certain amount of power. So you can actually manipulate any amplifier to change the amount of power it can push out. So technically, you can push out more signal to an area, but it still takes a certain amount of power from the power company, and of course, they have to allow you to be able to use it. You can't just say, "I need 10,000 watts to make this whole area work." Well, the power company has to be able to have the system to be able to give you 10,000 watts.
Yeah.
It might only have enough to give you 5,000. So
cutting in other people's power.
Cutting into other people's power.
You got to draw it from somewhere. It doesn't come from nowhere. It comes, in this place, it might come from the ether sphere. I don't know. I have a suspicion that we have free power in the ether sphere. I can't tell you.
Just make your customers really sick so they have to be treated and chipped so they all become even better slaves than they are now, Well, I mean, technically, if you could get the right frequencies to affect somebody's brain.
They have it.
You can, but I'm telling you guys, that's a lot of fucking engineering that somebody has to do to make that happen. It's just not one person that could do it.
They were using it in Somalia, guys. The SEALs had, it's like a big ass dish, and they were launching it specifically targeted at small boats, and all it does is causes nausea. It's in your head. It causes nausea. It's a frequency that goes into your head. It causes you to fucking kind of like, oh god. They have targeted devices like that for wartime, and it's limited on range. The machines are big. They hit a small group of people. They're not built into the fucking towers, and they're not gonna, because it doesn't. Sun Tzu, the art of war, man. You're not gonna kill the slaves that are providing fucking all the work for you. You're not gonna kill the birds that are providing for the environment. You're not gonna kill something in the environment that helps the environment they live in. Can't do that. People are assuming
about mind control,
Yeah, and everyone's thinking about mind control.
And here's simple. I'm using simple math. So, say the power company is going to give a tower 20,000 watts. Simple math, and then the tower needs 12,000 of it, and they want to shoot 12,000 out to the area. It doesn't. these fibers and these amplifiers, they might not be able to control 12,000. These amplifiers might be able to only give 5,000 out. So now Mike says, so I'm not saying it's not, Mike, I'm not saying it's not impossible, because with enough planning, it is possible. But I'm just saying that not everything that's happening can be blamed on 5G. You really have to do your research and research it, because each town, fiber's rented through different companies. So it's not just like Comcast is in every single city, it's all their fiber. You got thousands and thousands of companies that own fiber in every city. So you have to get everybody on board to do something on a major label. Now, can you do pockets? Of course you can do pockets. Of course. You can change whatever you want in different pockets, but you can't do everything at once unless you get 30,000 companies that own these fibers, or own these amplifiers, and everybody to be able to do it all at once. That's all I'm saying. It takes more planning than doing a 9/11. I'm just saying that. It takes a lot more planning than a 9/11. I know people think 5G is something simple. No, it's a fucking shitload that's involved in a 5G system. So,
well, could you control strategic points?
Yes.
Strategic points of the network?
Yep. You can control certain points, but you can't control everybody at once with it. That's just, if you did that, that would be the biggest conspiracy 9/11 you ever heard in your fucking lifetime. I'm just saying, from my experience from working within the company. I'm just not saying this because I'm saying this. Yeah. I hooked up 4G. I hooked up 5. Now, a lot of people say, is the fiber 5G? The fiber is not 5G. The fiber is not 4G. The fiber is just a pathway to allow more bandwidth signal to go through. To add faster speeds, you add more fiber. It's simple as that. Bigger fiber.
What can be coming out of fiber that is harmful? What can be coming out of fiber that's harmful? Right? I don't get that one. I can't see the fiber being harmful. It's the juice or something around it.
Yeah, no, that is the hard part, because all the fiber that I've been around with, just where I've been around with, there's no radiation, there's nothing that came out of it. Just now, it can have cracks in it where there's RF signal leaking in the air. Now there is leaks in the. Whoa, what happened there? My fault. Hold on, something on my screen just popped in, but sorry about that. So it's kind of like, you know how like back in the old days when you had analog TV, you know sometimes you have ghosts on the TV. Yeah, double image. That's because there's a leak in the signal, so 2 signals is hitting the TV at once. So you're having a signal that hit real time and a signal that hit 2 seconds ago or 2 seconds ahead that caused the ghost. Because there's a leak, there's a crack in the cable line. So there can be a crack where a signal can get out. But the thing is with fiber, usually with fiber, if there's a crack in the fiber, it's not like RF signal. Well, RF signal will just work no matter what. You'll get some kind of a picture. Usually with the fiber, if there's a crack, it stops. A light can't go through. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You literally have to prepare fiber where an RF signal, you could take a nail and hammer a nail through the cable wire. You still might get a picture. Might not look great, but it'll still go through. But you take a nail through a fiber, you broke the signal. The signal stops. So can it leak? I don't know really how, because once a light is stopped, it goes away. And you have to repair it and turn it off at the last amplifier that you're at.
I mean,
it wasn't like an extended lens, a permanent extended lens fibers. Like you lose your lens quality factor or something like that. It's over.
Oh yeah, farther.
It's just like a DVD set.
You're right. Farther out you live, and more amplifiers you got to use, the weaker the signal is. So sometimes by the time the signal gets into your house, you might get a picture, but it's not going to be great because the signal is so weak, because you can only amplify a signal so much. That's why rural areas are not upgraded to a full system to give you the full everything, because it costs too much money.
We have a dish.
And
a lot of dish.
Now, but yes, see dishes now satellite dishes. If you believe that dishes are even real, now even a dish has to have a tower where a hub works. But you ever know people who got internet through a dish? It's the slowest fucking thing in the world.
It sucks.
It sucks because there's less hardline, more wireless. And that's why, like, you can't have a tower signal make it a 5G because it has to have a hard connection to be able to give you the max signal you could give an area.
Fiber. You want that fiber in your house, that actual fiber line, that silica-made fiber line. It's made of silica. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that all 5G conspiracies are not true. I'm just saying that that's just research it first because it could be the actual power company because they could do it easier than a network, than a 5G, 4G network. A lot easier.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's just automatically more power. No, it's just better upgraded wires and more bandwidth. Has nothing to do with more power that's giving out more power. It's giving you more bandwidth so you have more data traveling faster to be able to get to the point faster. Now, remember cable TV, remember internet. All because you have the fastest internet, it doesn't mean the place that you're going to has a good system. That place might be running off of old 450 megahertz system where even though you had the fastest speeds, your internet can still be slow because the place that you're going to, the path you're going to now. Because listen to this. Okay, so Texas, you live in Texas, right?
Yeah, I'm in Dallas.
So right now, you and I, we're using StreamYard. Okay, now for you and I to connect, my signal has to go through every single state, going through every other system's lines to be able to get to you. So all because my Comcast might have great fiber, but getting to Texas, I might be going through shit lines to be able to even get to you. So it doesn't always mean because you got the fastest speeds that you're going to get the fastest speeds everywhere because the area you're going to might not have good lines.
You're going to have degradation of signal?
That makes sense.
You're going to have degradation of signal or anything like that?
Yes, because remember, once I leave the cloud, I leave the Seattle area, I can't control what Charter's doing next state over or what AT&T cable's doing next over or whatever cable companies are out there. You're relying on everybody's system to be perfect.
Well, that's what evident when you have these shows. You have like 4 or 5 people on here. There's always the one sap that like can barely come in, is all choppy. And you're like, oh, everyone's checking their cable. It's not your cable. It's where this person is at.
Yeah.
They're just getting the trickle amount out in the countryside somewhere.
One, speed test. Have you guys ever done cable speed test?
I have done it. I got a program
They
for
always tell you to do the speed test in the town that you're in, not to use other people's speed test sites. Because they want you to do a speed test within the heading that's in your area. That'll give you a more accurate speed. When you use other companies' speed sites, you're going outside your area to get to their point. So the speeds are never going to be factored. Because I used to get so many, in the cable company, I used to get so many people calling up to Eric, I'm not getting the speed that I'm paying for. My speed test, I'm like, well, what speed test are you using? Are you using our speed test? No, I'm using speedtest.org. Well, that's not through us. I can't tell you what your speed is going to be like because you're using a system that takes you outside the area.
Nice.
So it takes a lot. It takes a lot to pull something this big, huge off. You can do it. It's possible. But it takes a lot of people, a lot of money. And anything's possible, right?
It'd be strategic points.
It was like a lot of people in. That's like everything I've seen when it comes to conspiracy theories. When all these people are screaming fucking bloody murder and all this shit, I'm like, you know how many people it takes to pull that off? That's a whole lot of fucking shushers. Yeah. And it only takes only one rat to rat everybody else out. Then you got it's just like, man.
If there's birds dead in an area, you can actually have a faulty piece of equipment that just happened to be faulty, and it's not somebody doing it on purpose. I mean, that can happen too.
I'm finding no dead birds. I'm not, like if I was like could see the little birdies, right? Oh, there's 14 of them dead on the ground, right? Or 2 or 3 here. I've seen them struggling, but I haven't seen them dead.
The best way to create fear is do it in pockets because it's easier to do it in pockets than an overall thing.
So Danny's not finding no dead birds on the ground. I can't seem to find anybody in that hospital up the road. There's nobody in there. What's going on? Wait a minute now. I hear a whole lot of bitching and screaming about 5G killing everybody. I hear all these people dying and they're sneaking their bodies out the back to bury them in some mass grave with lime and shit like that. And nothing going on, man. There's just nothing going on. I don't see no problem.
People, like I said, people get cancer from power companies, right? Well, it's the power company that powers up these towers. So it all relates back to the power companies. There's more radiation from the power companies than the actual cable companies and phone towers themselves.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where they're
money conspiracies. I'll give you that. Unless there is a health concern, they're going to keep that quiet.
Yeah. So it is interesting, man. It is interesting. I mean, I'm going to be researching this a lot more because I worked in this field. I mean, I'm no genius. I'm not smart, but I've hooked up fibers to these 4G machines. No, I have not hooked up a fiber to an upgraded 5G system, but basically all a 5G network system is faster processors like a computer. Every year, a computer is faster, right? Why? Because they find better processors, better way to compress the signal. And that's all a network is better technology to compress it. Now, like T-Mobile, they're fake. They're saying their 5G network is 100% completely fake. Now, Verizon is actually running more fiber, so Verizon is more real versus T-Mobile. So the good question is, if you have birds die in your area, this is the first thing you should do.
Oh, yeah.
This is what people should do. Seriously. If you in the area, you see dead birds, write down who's the cable companies and try to find out what fiber companies are in that town. Okay? Now, all because it's Verizon, remember, Verizon might be using 5 different fibers to be able to get their signal to A to B. So if you got dead birds, find out who's the carrier, the main company, Verizon, and find out what fibers they are renting. So maybe you could get a connection between areas that have dead birds. Is this one fiber rental company in these areas? That's where you got to start doing your research. The company, the fibers are renting.
I'm finding no dead birds. That's the thing. I'm not finding. I've seen birds struggling on the ground. Last bird I saw was a red cardinal struggling on the ground in a small parking lot. Right? It was like it was sick or something. Right?
Yeah.
But I have not found. I thought, hey, I should have been finding maybe 6 or 7 dead birds here, a dead bird there. There should be some evidence of their demise. I'm not finding that.
Well, they can land on the hot wires. The people who was at the Museum of Flight, occasionally we'd have a couple dead fucking crows. Well, the crows are smart, though. You get a couple of seagulls, whatever, have it mislead. They land on the hot wires. Those are fucking power wires up there. And some of them land on them some wires up there, and they get crossed between the wires. They get electrocuted. They get up on the wires, they get electrocuted, especially the ones out there on the path of the airplanes. Well, they've got electrical wires running there too, specifically, and they have these sound things that specifically scare birds. At the airports, they do have the technology to bring a bird down. At the airport, they have it. They have it. So some guy works at the airport. He works for the CIA contract. I want to go scare fuckers for 5G. He puts up the same technology they use at the airports to fucking scare or tweak the birds and make them fall down, or
Mike
send a signal for.
Mike has a good question here. He really does. Yeah. Question: do cell phones cause tumors in the brain or not? Answer is yes, but we found out after 15 years of use that they were told us we're safe. They were possibly lied to us about 5G. Now that's true. There's been evidence of people. I don't know why I can't get the chat off. I'm trying to get it off the.
Froze ya.
It's frozen. That's weird. I can't get
it
off. I'm serious. I can't get his thing off. But what I'm saying is there's been proof that some phones have given people some tumors and stuff. Now remember, the phone takes.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't ever go off. I always stay on.
Wow, that was weird. That was strange. Everything just went up on me. It's like they're trying to stop us. Okay, what I'm talking back is the phone takes the signal from the air and it changes it so you can hear it. So depending on the phone you're using, the phone itself can give you radiation and stuff. It's not necessarily the signal that's coming from the air. It's how the phone takes the signal and changes it so it can be broadcast to you. So it's just
I believe, though, you'd have to have that phone kind of stuck to your ear permanently, wouldn't you? I mean, it'd like to have to be right next to your brain all the time.
Yeah, it might not necessarily be the phone. It might not be the signal itself that's coming to the phone. It could be the phone itself broadcasting it. Yeah.
Yeah, the lithium battery. The lithium
battery. The lithium battery causes more issues than anything else.
Just take the fucking lithium battery out and stick it to your fucking head. It's the same shit, man. If you aren't afraid of a lithium battery and you're playing with a fucking little toy car that has a lithium battery, you're in an airplane that has a lithium battery. Fucking what's his name? Tesla, or not Tesla, but Dollface. Elon Musk has lithium battery cars, a huge lithium battery car, and somebody's saying this phone is giving me fucking head cancer while they're sitting in a fucking Elon Musk lithium powered car. you gotta go. If you're running lithium power,
right? People don't talk about that, man. There's more radiation that comes from batteries. The phone gets all the blame, but people forget the phones have batteries. And what are those batteries coming from? Is it a shitty company? Is it a good company? Those phones can have cracks, and who knows how they're charging it. Deaths are happening from phone versus
They caught fire. Remember the 787? You guys remember the 787 out of Japan? So Japan was working with Boeing. Japan was supplying the lithium batteries for the 787. Boeing 787. You remember, Danny, when they were catching fire? You remember?
I remember hearing something about that. Yeah, that skips too. But yeah, I remember that.
In fact, Japan, who bought the first Boeing 787, supplied the lithium batteries for the fucking plane. When the plane got to Japan, it caught fire from the lithium batteries.
Yeah.
And Japan was like, hey, Boeing. And Boeing, this is all my workplace in the middle of flight. Boeing turned around and said, what are you talking about, bitch? It's your lithium batteries that caught fire, Japan.
Yeah. That's why you gotta. My last job, when we send out products out, if there's a battery in it, you gotta put the sticker label on there.
Yeah.
What kind of battery it is, or a non-battery label means it's not lithium.
Well, they're made in China.
And you're not allowed to pack a certain amount of batteries together in one box where they have to be separated. There's a max, or otherwise you got to fill out this piece of paper sheet if there's multiples.
Well, they're made in China. They found like those little skateboards, the single skateboards you stand vertically up on. You know, the one with the wheels you stand on like this. You kind of you don't pedal. They go automatically. Those were run on lithium batteries, and they were catching fire. People went to the hospital with their legs on fire. Kids caught fire from the lithium batteries that were made in China. They're a dangerous thing.
Here's another great question right here.
Yeah.
Questions. What about AirPods or wireless earsets? Do they cause you cancer as well? Now, of course, if you use headphones that have wire directly, of course, those won't cause cancer at all. Of course. But now, can AirPods? Well, I guess technically it depends on what kind of because AirPods runs off batteries in them too.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on the batteries that they're using. So my question, my answer would be, what if you have an Apple AirPod? Maybe find out what batteries they're using in it, and then investigate that battery brand and see if there's been any links to any kind of a cancer to it. Because every company uses different batteries. Yeah. Amazon has wireless headphones batteries. They all use different batteries. That's where you got to do your research.
Yeah.
Who's supplying the battery for that AirPod, and do your research and find out. Now, that's a good question. I tell you what, Lisa, I'm going to take this question on when I'm done with this show. I'm going to investigate on, if you're talking about Apple AirPods, because I have Apple AirPods, I'm going to investigate what batteries they are putting in those AirPods, and maybe on Tuesday, I can have a better answer for you.
Fucking A.
Because without knowing what kind of battery it's in there, I mean, anything with the battery can cause cancer. I mean, that's just say that. But I can't tell you the history of the battery that they're using if it's been known to cause cancer, if that makes sense.
There we go. Good. Very good. Very good. So we got it down to the batteries. We're talking about power.
Yeah. Well what it all comes down to? Power.
Power, yeah. Power source.
Network, 4Gs. Power from the power company. It's all fucking related to the power companies, people. There's your real conspiracy right there.
And stored power.
It's still universal money.
Yeah, and stored power like lithium batteries, like lithium, and they're coming out with other types of, they want to delve into radiation pretty soon. We fucking have a radiation on your fucking ear hole.
Well, Bob, what happens? What happens when you leave a battery in a radio forever, and when you open up one day, it's corroded.
Yeah.
Corrosion. It's powdery. You want that shit on you?
Yeah,
think about that. Everything, right? Every battery has the possibility of doing that.
Every battery
alkaline charges. Alkaline.
Yeah, that's regular batteries. Yes, and they corrode, right? If you leave them in there long enough, they'll corrode.
Just use the Coca-Cola that you put into your stomach to pour this acid onto your battery to take the corrosion away. Because the acid you have in this that you put in your stomach, which I love very much.
Hey, we should ask this person in the chat. Ann Gaynor. Wow, my ex used to work on lithium batteries. Hey, Ann, has your ex-husband ever had any medical issues during that time when you worked on lithium batteries? And you might not, maybe you didn't relate it to it, but was there anything major like small cancers or anything that he had while he worked on these batteries?
Good question.
Bob, I never told you this story. One day at my workplace, we have wound vac machines, okay, and wound vac machines are powered up by lithium batteries. Okay. I remember one day before we clean them and test them, they have to be plugged in. I remember one day I was at another table, I saw red smoke. I was like. What the fuck? I mean, it caught on fire and it was all red because of the chemicals and the wires that was in there. Now, breathing that shit could get you sick. So,
yeah,
the battery and the wiring system that's around it,
the
plastic, and all plastics. So you get plastic hot enough, you take the plastic chemicals plus the wire chemical, then you add that to the battery burning.
Yeah,
and that smoke was red because of the chemicals. And
if
that's
anything
else.
If they use any lead in there too, you got lead to worry about. Everything's a fucking handheld toxic little dump. It's like walking around with a handful of dog. I bet dog shit's healthier than a fucking cell phone in your hand. If you want to think about it. Now I carry a cell phone on my side.
And look, that's a good one too. Magnets. People forget about magnets. You know, old speakers had magnets. Remember the old TVs? If you had an old speaker, you put the speaker next to the TV, it changed the color on the TV itself because the magnets. Now that is more likely to fuck you up in the brain than something else. Magnets,
and everything has magnets. All speakers have magnets. All speakers have magnets. They are powered up, so they become magnets. It takes a lot of power, that copper wrapped around there, and that heavy, heavy charge. The old speakers took a lot of electricity. Mm-hmm. Imagine standing next to them fuckers with that music.
You have to get on some TVs. You got to move it away because it would cause like a rainbow color.
Yeah. And those vacuum tubes filled with that old special. I can't remember the chemical that was inside the vacuum tubes. It's been too long for me. But there's a chemical in there too in the vacuum tubes. It was like the box of poison boxes.
And remember, things still use magnets.
Everything.
TVs are better shielded now against magnets. But we haven't talked about magnets. They're not gone.
Magnets is a technology that's still getting better. They're still using more and more and more magnets. Pretty soon we're going to be flying things that we're going to be like little fucking things that float up on the, with magnets. It's going to be floating up.
Electromagnetism is it affecting the environment?
Those
Yeah.
old dial phones had magnets in them too.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Let's not forget that magnets could fuck you up. The old phones right there. Yes.
Let's take a look here.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, if you guys are, I'm a phone enthusiast. If you guys want to do archaeology, whatever, the date of your phone is inside here on the magnet. It's actually, that's where you find your date.
I wrote, there is magnet therapy. Hey, y'all. Is it really? Magnet therapy?
Here we go. Magneto.
Did you guys know old phones, right? When phones ring, when you strip a phone wire, Bob, when you strip a phone wire, there's multiple wires, right?
Yeah.
One of those wires actually has volts because it takes volts to make your phone ring on the old phone systems.
Yeah, makes sense.
It takes magnets and it takes power. So everything is based on power from the power companies, plus the mix of magnets. Look,
so you guys want to know over time, if you're bored at the secondhand store, you're buying old phones, take this off, pull out your battery, and if you guys could look right there, Eric, take a zoom in right there. That's how you know how old the phone is. Give me a big picture. There you go. You guys see the year? It's dated.
I can't see the date.
See
now,
right there?
Mike is right. There is some magnets that has healing power. That is true.
12/29/69.
That is true.
12/29. It's 1969.
And look,
That's
and look at that color of blue. And you know, on top of it, that gold color right there on the topper part? That's from the glue system that they put on these magnets. Now, you mix that glue, you mix magnets and power. I mean, it's a combination, dude. I mean, and those old phones takes volts to make it ring.
Power.
Even phone wires have power. Now, have you guys ever took a cable wire, unscrewed it from a TV, and you got sparks?
Oh shit!
Yes, that's a faulty power system that's not supposed to happen in the cable wire. I know everybody's as one time been shocked from a cable wire, or sometimes they have a cable plugged into some TV in a room, and you unhook the cable wire from outside. You get a shock because cable wires can also carry current through it, and not supposed to. But it
not
can.
Not optic cables, right? But the wire ones, right?
The wires, yes. Fiber optic is light, and power is light, and the fibers does not broadcast power. It broadcasts just the signal, the data that's in it.
Where's the old copper?
Yep.
So they're attached to the wall. So your old phone used to have actual electricity powered into your phone and into your face hole, right there. So
hey,
you
Bob,
had.
do you remember this? You and I used to watch MacGyver.
I love MacGyver.
Do you remember a MacGyver episode where he was attacked by robots and they target by heat? So he used these magnets to toss it like fabric on them, and they shot each other. God damn it! I'm trying to remember. We watch every single. We used to watch MacGyver.
The robots, though, I don't know about the robots.
I don't remember the robots. I'm gonna have to Mike. I'm gonna investigate that. I'm gonna check that one out because we used to watch MacGyver.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see
the bomb out of bubble gum. I mean, MacGyver was awesome.
Yeah, it's because of him. I always carry. Hold on, I don't.
I only saw one show with the paperclip.
yeah. And Mike is right. We are electric beings. I mean, we are run by electricity. So power from the power companies, power to your body. Yeah.
I don't ever. Dad bought me this. I don't leave my house without this. I do not leave my house without this ever. If you were to be caught by the enemy, you could easily. I have no weapons, but you got a string, you can pull it out. So yeah, I don't recommend putting it up your ass in case you get captured by enemy, but you can. But there it is.
Swiss pocket knife?
Yeah, Swiss. Oh yeah, I've carried this Swiss for over 10 years.
Bob,
I got 20 years.
I can't remember that MacGyver. We lost Mike's respect. God damn it.
But MacGyver only had a Swiss Army knife. Remember, he only carried a Swiss Army knife.
But I feel bad.
Everything with a Swiss Army knife.
Why? What did you think? You and I would remember robots and MacGyver?
don't remember robots.
Maybe a factor, guys, of where you're at right now.
Yeah,
This place, Bobby. This place.
maybe it's a Mandela effect version that we haven't seen yet. I want to check it out.
I'll ask you guys an off-the-wall question. It has nothing to do with the magnets of powers. Last night I was kind of bored. The Matrix was on, so we had Matrix guests. So I watched the first Matrix, not all of it, because I don't like the other two Matrix movies and how AI uses human body as power. I mean, that's how they're basing their power system off. And the red pill and the blue pill. If you take the red pill, you get to wake up into the world. Blue pill, you get to go back. I was thinking, if AI was really that intelligent, why the fuck would they make your life so miserable where you want to go out? Why don't that AI give me put me on a fucking paradise island with castles and everybody worship me at my feet so I never want to wake up? I'm just asking. I'm just off the wall.
That would be like the first Matrix movie. If it was things were too good, you go insane. That's why I've got an issue with people who say, "Oh man, I go to heaven and everything's perfect." You go insane. Just like if you went to the other place, you'd go insane. So you got to have a life, got to have its ups and downs.
Yeah. I'm in agreement 100%. You got to have challenges. You got to be challenged.
I understand challenges, but I understand challenges, but I'm tired of fucking ripped muscle. I'm tired of busted up knees. I'm tired of that kind of hustle. I want an easy fucking hustle, man.
I know, but it's life.
You get to wake up to the Matrix world. I'm fucking there because I'm tired of being hurt.
Yeah. I mean, you have the option to walk away, or you could live on the street. I don't know, but you learn everything's a trial. We live in a trial. It's like school. They say, "What's your profession?" I go, "I'm a student." A student of what? What's there not to be a student of? I go, "It's life, man. Everything's a fucking." I'm learning every day. I'm learning new shit every day. Every day. And it could be wrong too. So you got to relearn that all over again. Everything's a fucking challenge.
I want to thank Flat Accord Music saying I love this channel. Hey, man. Hey, we're just talking, guys. We're just talking. I'm just saying the experience that I have with the company. I'm not saying this stuff ain't killing stuff. I'm just giving you my experience, and that I just can't go all in on 5G yet. I have to investigate everything first before I say 5G is being built for one main reason, to fuck us over. I'm just saying I have to look at it even more.
Logic and reason.
Everybody does, right?
Logic and reason. Logical assessment.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? We never asked Texas Danny some questions because I feel so bad. So, Texas Danny, what is the biggest change to the landmass that has happened? Could you give great numbers? Give us some numbers on something.
You give great number, man.
Okay, I'm giving you the numbers. Before, just by happenstance, things happened in the prior life that you did, right? Like I happen to say, gee, I want to see how wide England is in miles, right? At the widest berth, across and that kind of thing. So I remember something like 455 miles to 485 miles, something like that. Now it's greatly reduced. The lower part of France going across from the Atlantic into the Mediterranean. Now, I didn't actually measure that, but I have a good idea. It's reduced, right? The Earth's landmass is being reduced. We are turning into a smaller representation, at least demonstrated on Google Earth and somewhat on my 2012 North American Atlas. So things are shown as getting smaller. My resolution, though, on other things is why is gravity, in my estimation, seemingly now still a constant. We're not lighter like we're on the moon, like we're bouncing around and stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure out a lot of things, but I constantly see changes. It never stops for me, at least demonstrated on Google Earth and sometimes on my Atlas. And plus I can't get out of my area. That's a really weird deal. But the things that I see in the landmass, you've got things coming, Eric, your direction, right? From what I see. How fast it's going to move, how exactly it's going to move, I don't know. But you have, like, I'll look just like you're good with schematics, right? Diagrams, that kind of thing. When you look at them, when for work, right? You undoubtedly did that.
Yes.
Okay. When I look at maps and stuff like that, it's simple lines. You see, you make your connection. where is this, like just like you do with a number or like a highway system or a town or a city. I look at that. Now when Google Earth comes up, what does it do, man? It now if I looked at it for a couple of days, boom, it's like it drops down and has like, okay, wait a minute, and I didn't dedicate my memory, I didn't study carefully like I did should have, but I can still see, whoa, man, there's Palookaville is gone and now Hicksville is here, right? Or I could see the location of things slightly ever changing. Like Miami ain't happy unless it's ever so slightly constantly going down, right?
Yeah.
When this guy told me, he happened to at my place of work, he went to the Bahamas to go on vacation, and he went into the Florida Keys to see Key West, right? So I always wanted to see Key West, but I know that the situation was going a certain way here. I was wrong on my analysis as to what was going to happen to Key West. I thought she was going to disappear. It went the other way, and now we have this Duck Key with Marathon in a different position. We have the Big Pine Keys. We have all these places that I wanted that I never saw before, and that was actually studying this place at the time he had just went on vacation. So
Wow.
boom, that showed up new on Google Earth. Okay, yeah, and I can see the changes as far as just like if you could see, wait a minute, man, I had diagram line 187, and it was supposed to go down into 205 and VHS, UHF, whatever your designations were for when you read your route. I read the maps and the terrain and everything the same way, right? It's changing. Just like, hey, man, Seattle, it's inevitable, man. I'm just wondering, how is that going to jump and come to your consciousness? Are you going to like see Zippo change? Are you going to like have a kind of an alternate view of things, or what, right? Because I don't know, from Robert and his experience, Puget Sound was much bigger. United States Navy could have come in. Robert, is this true from your timeline? The United States Navy, if they wanted to, could have come in on a parade into Puget Sound, right?
Easily. Danny, you're correct, because we had, Eric, you remember we had it was like a pirate day. It was Seafair. So Seafair came in and all the ships used to come in, Danny. Like you said correctly, military ships came in the Sound. Military ships came in the Sound. The reason why I know is because at the Museum of Flight, I used to be one of the guys that got to go on the Navy ship with the Museum of Flight members on a Still Beach picnic. So they came in on the Sound, and they also had on Seafair. They had pirate ships, tall ships. So they would have a whole fleet of tall ships coming down there, man. And you see these guys dressed as pirates. I mean, it was a festival. It was awesome. And now they come out of my house. Well, I don't have it anymore. I look down the street, and I can see the bank on the other side of the Sound, and I can see the grass with clarity. Bullshit. It was
I look at the map of Puget Sound now. It's like, whoa. But then you get in that whole Eric, your neck of the woods. I don't know, like if what you see with Vancouver, British Columbia, right? And that's got some changes coming, depending on if the model all stays intact. I gave a model variance of 26% to 31% because I like the numbers in my head as to what could be loose out there, as to what some give, as to what the formula is going to be, right? But I can see it coming together.
What about this one, Danny? Somebody wrote, and Cuba did not block the freaking Gulf of Mexico.
No, they didn't
It
block
was just outside it. It was in the Straits of Florida. Cuba, like I said, you could see everything's coming up, man. Bermuda has changed. Bermuda's got that going on, and we all know about, I assume, the Bermuda Triangle and everything else like that, down to Miami, out to San Juan, to Puerto Rico, right? That all has to be a factor. I see the Bahamas coming up, and I see those tracks in the Gulf of Mexico. I see what's coming in your direction, Eric. Now, and Robert, are you in Manchester, England?
Manchester, yes, sir.
Are you? Oh, okay. Well, there's that's the UK is in a weird flux. Like it could do this, it could do that. But it's like seeing things go forward. The best way I could describe it is like if you see the land masses, is if you could put a kind of a real solid liquid oil-like painting on water, right? And then you watch it kind of dissolve ever slowly, and move, right? That's what the land masses seem to be doing, are the demonstration of them, and with the changes and stuff like that, with like where a road is, or like
Yeah.
if Palooka
Or
goes
Cuba
on
is
and hits
10 times
them.
bigger than before.
Yeah. In England, I'm noticing the islands appear, dude. And some of the and also lakes are appearing all over Ireland. Now, here's the catch-22. There are people I know that have the effect, that have the, they convinced me they got it. And I'll be in Ireland, and they're in Ireland, they're from Ireland, they're doing their thing in Ireland. I'm in Ireland, I'm saying, tell me about these fucking new lakes, dude. They're popping up everywhere. You gotta know. And they look at me like, what are you talking about? The new lakes.
Yep.
What
It
new
will make
lakes?
sense.
You don't see
My
it.
analysis, guys. My analysis of what I'm seeing, right, is the surface areas are going down, right, as well as the waterways, right, and they got to be going somewhere. Right now, some people say, "Oh, we're shifting, we're shifting, we're shifting." That's a possibility, but also the physical manifestation of changes, of a mechanical type of changes has happened, and the math adds up as to what things are doing. They can't possibly all be fit. Like Cuba, somebody mentioned in the chats that Cuba's getting bigger. Yeah, because the water is going down and that landmass. The only thing is, it seems like the timeline adapts to the situation.
It is. You know, another thing, Danny, I don't know if you noticed, I'm going to tell you this because it's something you can look at yourself, and you probably already saw it. If not, you have, that's cool. That's cool.
Cable splicer. These are cable splicers.
Oh, cable splicer. Okay.
Just so people know that I know what I'm talking about, people. Sorry about that, guys.
It's the canals, Danny. It's the canals. I have been all over, and these canals are in the hundreds. They're in Paris. They're all the way up to Russia. There are canal systems I have never seen before. Everywhere you go, there's a canal system. It used to be like you go down like to Spain or wherever, down there, and they have the canal system, like the water, the canal systems, and up in Paris, and a little bit here in England. Oh, bullshit! They're in the Netherlands, man. They're all over France. They're all up in Russia. They're by the Kiev. They're here. They're everywhere. More canals all over, appearing to me, and people here probably don't see it, all over England. Canal systems, beautiful. And I keep saying to myself, who the fuck built these canal systems? They're concrete. Like we're talking like undertaking, like the pyramid kind of undertaking with the concrete or the rocks, the distance. They're set up beautiful and perfect, and the way the rocks are connected, they're just perfect, like the damn pyramids. One of my systems. Go ahead.
One of my inspections of the UK, Robert, I went in there and I looked into the, I got my markers in the UK, a couple markers, 2 or 3. Yeah. And I went in there and took a look, and I did see, it came to my mind, man, where'd these canal systems come from? Yeah. But it makes sense with what's changing on the earth. It's just like, Eric, if like when you study, I'd like to get with you on the future, if you'd help me out on this. You study systems, you study connections, you have that like that. You still have classical mechanics that have to be happening on some level, okay? So why in the jumps, the shifts, or the changes, whatever mechanics, whether it's quantum mechanics or physical mechanics are taking place, things have to connect A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So we're getting those connections. They've got to still be happening. But what I'm interested in, we're seeing the timelines adapt to it, or the circumstances of the demonstration of the map on geography or the city structure, its infrastructure, whatever. That seems to be adapting and changing with it as well. So I'm trying to figure out why, because that comes into AI, that comes into alternate realities, that comes into everything. Yeah, absolutely.
All of it's on the table now, Danny. Everything's on the table. I know there's a God. It sometimes makes me more relaxed when I just give up a little bit. Okay, throw all this away. So, God, what are you doing now, man? Just give me take a little break from the brain for a little bit, put it back on a God, and then go back. Okay, what did men do? Okay, apparently they did all this. This is what the man can do. This is what a man can't do. This has got to be part of a AI system, whatever, because you can't have these many fucking threes in this sequence in this one place. Men can't do this. Men can't do this. Men can't do this. What can God do? God can do this. God, now what can a man do? Men can do this. Men can lie. The Hollywood people are professional liars. They could lie. The presidency can lie. The aristocrats could lie. There's men. So I have to try to separate what a man can do to what the AI or what the Matrix or whatever you want to call this beautiful system can do, and without going too crazy with it. Everyone's screaming, they. I go, who's fucking they? They're doing it. Who the fuck are they? Give me one person. The Rothschilds. No, man. The Rothschilds.
Real quick, let me just do a fast shout out to Texas Danny. If you guys like this kind of conversation, people, this is Texas Danny's YouTube page. Click sub Texas Danny because he always has a lot of great numbers, a lot of great information. So people, if you love this talk, sub Texas Danny. All right, Bob, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Get his subs up, goddamn. I'm sick of seeing Danny's fucking subs so goddamn low. I don't care if he watches videos. Put his subs up there. Sub him, goddammit. Get his subs up. He has
great numbers, right? Watching Texas Danny is like, I got to research this. I got to check this out. Is he right? Wrong? You make people think. That's important. You make people think.
Well, absolutely. It's like Robert, man. You went to Paris, right, Robert?
Yes.
Right. Man, I was envious, man, because I said, man, now Robert's got an opportunity. He can. I heard of the skull thing in France years ago, right? I watched part of a TV show on it. All those countless amounts of skeletons down there, all stacked, and they give you an explanation. Oh, well, the cemeteries took up so much room in France that they had to clear out the property, so they took them down there, right? So back then I was going and you got to see them physically. And Robert, you have a memory just like I do of the old skull system, the old skull, right? So you could physically look at those skulls. I mean, did you see the sockets in the back of the eyes and everything?
It was completely closed off. It's the newer skull. They've some of the systems are a little bit older. They didn't have the full. I guess they had the nerve ending holes. They've got the divot chins. They have the higher cheeks. So they've got the modern skulls. Even where they break apart here and certain parts. Okay, if that's the same as ours here, didn't see any of our old skulls, but what I did see was there was more than 7 million in there. I can guarantee you that
7 million skeleton.
They said 7 million, which is a lot by itself. But I'm saying there's more, Danny, than 7 million.
What?
I was sneaking into caverns back there. We had to be real fucking careful. And it was like a fucking cave system packed. It looked like the movie. It looked like not Reanimator, but the Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm talking about the movie. What's it called? Arnold Schwarzenegger was in.
He did Total Recall.
The first one with all the skulls. With all the skulls.
1984 Terminator for me.
Oh, Terminator.
It was like Terminator.
The first one. The best Terminator movie. The best one.
These many fucking the bodies in there like this, guys. There's too many skulls. What's that?
Yeah, Eric Robert. Okay, I went and saw in 1984. I went and saw in Texas the movie Terminator when it came out. I don't know what prompted me, but I went and saw it in the theater, right? Okay, so I watched the movie. I thought, this is a kick-ass great movie. I loved it, right? Start to finish. Okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger, in my reality, in my timeline initially, right, had full-bodied, slick, black raven hair. Raven hair, okay? It was thick-bodied, it was full, and it was combed back. And of course, he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the muscles, everything like that. And I think would go with our skull structure then. So I will look at the Terminator here in this place, like Robert would put it, and he's got friggin' auburn brown brunette hair.
You know what? I don't remember that. I remember him having spike hair because I remember getting my haircut as a spike because of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It was spiked, yeah. It was.
Yeah,
It
I
was
remember his
Terminator.
hair being spiked. Now,
And Terminator was spiked the Terminator.
I'm going to tell you how I saw this movie. Bob and our brother went to karate class in Fresno. And while they're in karate class, I went in and saw Terminator, and I came out and said, Bob, this is the best fucking movie in the world. And Bob ditched the next day. He ditched the karate class to go see Terminator.
I got trouble. I got in big trouble. It was worth it. I got beat, but it was worth it seeing that fucking movie.
Hey, what do you two think of this question here? Did you ever consider that it could be a fallen angel technology perpetrated by men?
Yeah. I have
And then
considered that.
could be alien technology. Yeah, it's like, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, but I'd go along with, hey, man, there could be aliens out the ass, or they're resident of this planet.
Are you guys ready to take on a kind of a controversy, kind of a question I see here that can be controversy big time?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Because all three of us were in the military. So
We're
that's
all
why I
veterans,
saw this
guys.
question. This question is
We're
not
veterans.
related to what we talked about on the show, but I saw
Navy,
it. It sounds
Army,
interesting.
military.
This is what it says. Should women be in combat military roles? Eric, what's up?
I could talk
Oh,
about
no.
this. I could talk
Yes
about
and
this.
no. Yes and no.
That's a hard. Now, I'll tell you guys my opinion.
Well, it's here, Danny's. Danny got
Yeah.
a yes or no. A little more than that. Come on, Danny.
No, yes or no. Okay, there are going to be some women absolutely could throw in, and we know it, right? Hand to hand, physical shooting weapons, and you're going to have females. Just logic says for any kind of a tactical endeavor that you're going to be involved in, you're going to have female soldiers. By and large, though, generally women are not suited and fit for that kind of thing in general, in mass, right? But some women are. And you're going to need women commandos. You're going to need some women soldiers. And there are going to be some women, just like there's some men who can't handle, combat. Everybody thinks, oh, man, just because you get drafted or you're in the military or you're a male, and then you come to you're like saying, hey, screw this stuff, man. I'm not that violent. But you're going to have some women who are combat able. That's logical, man. You're going to have women commandos for every type of scenario, women soldiers, but we got to be realistic as well. Women, by and large, generally can't do the same thing males can do in a physical status. They just can't do it. But it's a mixed bag with me. It's a yes and a no.
You're absolutely right. It is like a yes and no, because let's think about this deeper. War is to defeat the other people. It's to kill people. That's just basic. That's what war is, right? So in the idea of war, to continue life after a war, you have to have women. I mean, you just have to. Men can't have babies. I'm not saying women are just made to have babies, but to continue life, so you got to have the percentage of women more in the back. You can have a few in the front, but in the theory is if you're defeated, you got to have women to continue the life of human races to go forward. Because if you have most all women fight and say 90% of all women get killed, life can't move forward just with men. I hate to say that, but you need women to have life moving forward. But like you said, there's women that can fight better than men. You kick the shit out of better than men. But percentage-wise, you got to have women in the back to continue life to move forward.
Yeah, women are physical fighters, but let me make this point that, and this is just a kind of a common sense, ordinary thing like you would have discussed in the old world, how the reality was. You're going to have a situation where you're going to say, we need women commandos, and you're going to need them. Why? You have multiple scenarios where you would have to use them, right?
Yeah,
like
they're smarter than men. They're smarter than men.
Yeah, yeah. And you're going to have women soldiers. I mean, like women, men are physical like that. It's a thing. But but by and large, generally, no. Because I mean, in old reality, the old world, this guy told me how he was enlisted and he had to do a physical contest with a African American military officer, and he had to physically directly compete. Well, he says they were just politically changing the entire scenario as he did the physical test. It's like, well, why even go through this thing if she can't physically do what you do? That's not the issue. Is what can she do? what optimum level can we bring females up to the physical form as to be able to do the function that they can do? Like a woman could pull a trigger just like a man can, but they're not going to have the stamina, right, to be able to get out in the environment like a man can. That we got to be reasonable. Everybody keeps on this universal block, and it always bothers me.
Yeah. My story's a little bit different. I can say Eric can vouch for this. Okay, so I was on the USS Blue Ridge LCC-19. It is the flagship of the Pacific. It is the #1 flagship of the Pacific. It's an intelligence ship. It's the ship that shines, and the admirals come on, and all the can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's where everybody comes to the ship and does all these cool things. And so women, I was one of the first petty officers to be in charge of women.
Hey, I can't hear you.
What's that? You can't hear anything? Uh-oh.
I can hear you just fine.
Danny, can you hear me now? Testing. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, anything.
I can hear you just fine, Bob. So it can't be because I'm the hub for this show. So if I can hear you, everybody else can.
I think his audio's off. So okay, so
continue.
Okay, so I was I was talked to be one of the first petty officers to be in charge of females on a ship. First females ever.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I got you. Now I got you. So the first females to come to an actual ship.
I can't hear you guys at all.
Oh shit!
Here, let me try this, Texas. I'm gonna knock you out and bring you back in.
You had to reboot him.
Can you hear me?
Silent movie time.
Can you hear it? Anything, Danny? Can you testing 1 2 3? Testing 1 2 3.
What I'll do is I'll kick you.
You guys want to block over to because I can't hear you. If you want to go off, I'll say goodbye if you hear me right now, and because I can't hear you at all.
Okay.
Yeah, you do that.
Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Okay. All right. I'll say goodbye, man. You guys go ahead and put me off, and I'm going to listen to the show. Thank you, Eric, Robert. Man, I need you both on this, man. Mind is the best thing. Mind.
Yes,
okay, man. Text Danny.
Talk to you later.
You couldn't hear. Okay, so I'll make it short.
We're close to the 2-hour mark anyway, so I'll have you tell your story, and then we'll end the show.
Yeah, so I was one of the first petty officers to be assigned females on a United States Navy ship. So they figured since it was the flagship, it's a show-off ship. They wanted the admiral's ship. They wanted to have that ship as the first ship to actually have females stationed on the ship. You're not visiting the ship for a tour. You were stationed on the ship on the Blue Ridge. So I was one of the first petty officers they asked to be in charge. Now, I had my own duties. I had my own thing, and everything I was going on my own with a smaller other group. They told me I needed to take a break. I needed to be on the ship. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to take a nice fucking break on the ship and do what I'm going to do in my own space. I have my own assignment. They said, oh, by the way, we're going to give you females. I said, you're giving them females to the wrong person. I did not have a mother. I was not raised around females other than what I wanted to do with them after a couple drinks. I'm a sexist. They said, no, you're going to have females. So I was the first petty officer in charge of females on the fucking ship. So they brought a whole group of females on, and they signed them to our apartment. And so I'm standing there being introduced, and these were my ladies all lined up. And I've talked about these in my earlier shows. I'm like, okay, so I'm in charge of these females. Okay, no problem. First trial error. We're going out to sea. We're doing everything. So everybody's watching these females on this ship. Number one problem wasn't their problem. It was the fucking military's problem because they're on a Navy ship, a sovereign ship, a ship that is America on the water. The ship should have everything they need to survive out at sea. For men, women had a problem because they leak like a scooter does. Like scooters, everyone knows how to ride a scooter. They leak. Women have a leaking problem. So the females come to me and say, we got a problem. What's the problem? The store doesn't have things to help my leak. What? We are so many weeks away from shore and you have a leaking problem. Absolutely. I said I go to the fucking ship commissary. They don't have what they need for females. Females require an additional amount of things they have to have for hygiene. A lot of things. So number one problem with the fucking military was they didn't have those things for the females on the ship. We had to go through that. We had to modify and change things for that. They finally got things that they needed for the ship. That was one of them. And then you had females.
You don't really think about. They
didn't think about it.
That's not being sexist or anything right there. That's something to really think about. That's kind of
it was huge.
That was huge.
I had to learn from this. I'm not raised with females, so I had to learn this myself. So the second problem is you've always got an alpha female that starts the train. An alpha female will start the menstrual cycles. It was a myth. Bullshit. It's not a myth. So I had to find out which one of them had the alpha female fucking cycle starter. When that person started it, the other female started like one after the other. So there goes the other one. Now everyone's moody. You've got to stand watches. You're allowed technically by Geneva Convention during wartime 2 hours of sleep a night or the day, whatever you're allowed to get it. So sometimes during drills, you were allowed 2 hours. Females that are menstruating don't act so well when they have only had 2 hours of sleep. It really screws up their movements, or not movement, everything. Their whole body's off. So I had to talk to them about that. Now, if these females are menstrual and you're giving them 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours, 4 hours, are having a hard time. They're really having a difficult time because their body chemistry is not fucking the same as guys. Guys get up, shit, shower, and shave, and fucking run. Women have a lot more time to cork fucking leaks and stuff. We had that problem. Then we get them up on watches. We had that problem because now they're emotional to whatever's happening all the time. Now, a woman can become strong over time. A guy can be just as squirrely as a girl can. So that's not a factor. Women become damn good fucking helmsmen, damn good watch standards. They learn their trades like a motherfucker, knew it. It was a lot of problem. But then you had the men. Now, the men are men. Men are horny. Men are at sea. Men are men. Men are hitting on the women. When a woman's doing her job, a man has to stop. Then the other guy's got to stop. And then now you got a problem there. The women had to cut their hair short. You almost had to make them look ugly. It's like, don't wear makeup. We don't wear makeup in the Navy. We don't wear makeup in the Navy. We got to cut our nails short. It was a whole new learning curve. And the women did it 100% perfectly. They fucking adapted to it. But was it hard? Yes. There was a lot of changes the military had to make for females. And again, because of their menstrual cycles and their mood swings and certain things that go with their biology, a lot of things had to change with that. So there was a question of, why can't she stand watch tonight? Well, she's menstruating. She needs a little more sleep. She's lost a lot of blood. How do you explain that to another watch standard who doesn't want to pick up this girl's watch because she's menstrual? It's not fair to him. So we had a whole lot of issues with the small things when it comes to the medical stuff. But overall, women were fantastic. And a lot of them went off to become great. All of them went off to become great sailors after that. But there was a huge learning curve. And people ask me, in my opinion, even officers said, what do you think of females being permanently stationed on a ship? I said, as long as you can get through all of these problems, and there's a list of them, I don't see it as a problem. However, it was a problem. It was a severe problem for ship's morale. There was a PC police that went around and made sure men didn't swear like sailors. If you said the pussy word or P word or any kind of cunt word or something like that, you were immediately in trouble because females were. So a man had to learn how to speak again. Sailors swear like crazy. It wasn't until the females started swearing louder than the men that they started lightening things down. We were happy that when the women were starting to swear like the men.
It's a culture change.
It was a culture change.
But you know,
we had Wog Day, Eric. You had ceremony for Wog Day. You cross the equator. There's a whole new thing because now you have Wog Day. You have the ceremony where you are a wog, you become a shellback, where you are not beaten, but you are things dumped on you. You're bobbing for apples out of toilets. You're being put down, ridiculed. You're going through a Wog Day ceremony. You've got the dancing queen. You've got Neptune when he's sitting there with his belly out with peanut butter all over it. You had to change that. There was no slapping a woman's ass during Wog Day. So there was a tradition had to change. You had a tradition that went back hundreds of years, and they had to change it. A lot of upset Navy guys with that one. A lot of traditionalists were very upset with that one. So that one also changed the military permanently when it comes down to the Navy.
You did say something in the beginning that I don't think what you said probably never get enough credit for coming out and saying something that you yourself, I mean, we're brother, I guess it'd be the same for us, that we grew up with no mom, no sister, no nothing. We grew up without any women. So that, no matter what, that does make things a little more difficult for you, because even myself, sometimes my wife will say, you don't say the right things. And you could say, maybe because I never learned to say the right things. And so you're saying that it was a learning curve for you because you were never around women. So you didn't really know how to speak to one in a proper manner, you could say. If that makes sense. I mean, you got to give you credit for saying that, because that's admitting something that most people probably never admit, that they're not around women. So you don't really know what to say. You know how they say that you never go on a date, you don't know what to say on a date?
They had dating problems. They had dating problems because you're going to ports. If you're stationed overseas, guys are looking for one thing: the loose ladies. And so my ladies are coming up to me saying, "What do we do?" I said, "I don't know. Do you maybe want?" I'm not saying this to be racist, people. I said, but some are Asian, some are white, some are black. I said, maybe you go look for a date on shore. They're like, "We're not sluts." I go, "I'm not saying you're a slut. But you could play cards. You could stay on the ship and lift weights. You could go shopping. You don't have to go look for a guy. You know, that's what the other sailors are going to do." We had situations where the breakups are on the ship. The one girl's having a break. And I had to always say, look, number one, we don't have breakups in the United States Navy. Shit. There are no breakups in this fucking Navy. You do not cry in the Navy. I had to have girls aside like, excuse me, we don't cry. Let's not cry during fucking muster. No crying. Nobody crying during muster. Some of the girls were menstrual. They cry.
Now, people in the chat, I want you guys to know this, that the women he was around, he actually married one of them. So don't act like he was a man chauvinist. He actually married one of them.
Married one of them.
You fell in love with one. But because of the things you brought up to the ship, do you know, till this day, do you know if that ship actually has supplies now? Supplies for the women that you maybe, even though they might be offended by some of the words you said, but maybe you helped the ship to realize, hey, we need these other supplies to support everybody.
Yeah. They learned how to get the tampons, all sizes,
because of you.
Explain to them. I had to go into there, explain to them. Ladies have different size hoo-hoos, so we need different varieties of size and lots of the different sizes. I had a whole list from the gals. We need this. You don't need this. You don't need, but they need this. They need this. They need this.
Because when you go out in the sea, you're on the sea sometimes for months.
Yeah, you got
around for. So, like, I'll ask this. This might be an off the wall question. Like, say you need another pair of underwear. Can you buy underwear on that ship? Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Yeah. Now you can buy underwear. But I can imagine if you're a woman and say your bra breaks, you have a wire that broke. Could that, during the time they were on your ship, could they buy a bra on that ship during that time?
No, they didn't have bra replacements. And there are different boobie sizes. I had to make sure they had different sizes for the boobies. And the ladies, I said, ladies, you're going to have to write your last four into your skivvies, because you're going to take your skivvies to the laundry. Laundry's going to be picked up. So I had to make sure the girls knew where to put their dirties on their rack, where to put their. And then we have the watch standard problem, because the messenger of the watch on the deck, or any watch standing, you're standing a watch in the middle of the night. They have to come into traditionally, you come into the berthing of the person that you're going to replace, or the person's going to replace you. You wake them up and say, hey, man, you're on watch in 20 minutes or in 30 minutes, giving you a 30-minute warning. So get your shit up and get dressed. That person gets out and gets dressed. Now, you have a guy coming down saying, my watch replacement is in the female berthing. So he's got to walk into the female berthing and wake her up in the middle of all female berthing. Couldn't do it. So for a little while, we had to assign a female as a job to be to stand by the door all 24 hours. So if someone were to come in, we figured it out, pass it on to this person. This person goes and passes it on to the gal that's replacing for watch. Now, they didn't do that at first. I had to walk into the female berthing, and number one said, the rules is, ladies, you wear a top. You do not sleep with your boobies out. You wear a top or a shirt. Because I would go in there, and inevitably, I'm seeing ho-hos and hee-hees and hoo-hoos and boobies, and I'm like, you need to get out of rack. You're starting next watch. You're getting up on watch. Get out of rack. Get out of the rack. Get them out of the rack. I walk out. I had a complaint about that. So finally, I got a standard that watched the door, so that person went and got people. Finally figured that problem out. So because and then the females, we had a problem with them using all their extras and stuff because you walk in there and it smelled like a Paris whorehouse. You can't have that. So we had so many problems.
Let me answer this one question. Lisa wants to see a picture of you in the military. Now, Lisa, I was in the military too. Don't you want to see my picture? I tell you what, Lisa, there is a picture of. I do have a picture of Bob in the military while he was standing in the city of Japan. I'll try to find that picture and show it on Tuesday, if that's good. Now, you know what? I mean, first of all, nobody should be offended for anything that's being said because you're just saying what happened during a transition, and transitions are never easy for anybody. And you're saying some things like no bras on the ship. You're saying they had no supplies for women. That they're sometimes. Let's just put everybody together, but not realizing what people need.
Yeah.
So, that's
on a ship. Now, not in the Marines, not on shore duty, because girls adapted to the Army like nothing, to the Marines like nothing, to all shore duty positions like nothing. But when it came to living on a ship with majority of them men, 90% men at the time, it was a struggle for the females and the males. It was a very large curve to get over. But once we got through it, and once I've learned it as an anthropologist now, we got through it. The females, it became regular practice to have all those things in the commissary. Women had a person to wake them up on watch. They knew how to clean their space. I mean, they became.
You married one. You married one. So
I even did a 45-day restriction. Guys, I was busted down one rank and stayed on the ship for 45 days because I had two of my females. They were working in the paint locker and they caught it on fire. They caught a paint locker on fire on the ship in the middle of the ocean. And I tried to find out what the fuck were they doing. They were using their lighter they're doing their nails or some kind of makeup thing, and they were warming something up. It was flammable, and some other shit caught fire. And I got in trouble for it.
Well, so when you're the boss,
I'm the boss. I was the boss. So it was my responsibility to make sure they didn't have any of those things in that locker. No makeup stuff, no nothing. So I even took the heat for a lot of shit for females, what they did. So, I mean, I think they worked out great. But I can write a book on that. First females in the Navy.
I think we hit our over to our mark. I think we had a fun time today. The 5G talk, like I said, just do your own research and all this stuff, people. I just give you guys my opinion on the 5G because I used to work on the wires on the 4G and stuff, so I have some experience in that stuff. So at the end of the day, just do your research, and I respect Texas Danny. About the military question, I knew that would be a hard question. It's not a hard question, but it's not a question that the answers will be acceptable to everybody. But I appreciate you giving an answer, Texas giving an answer, I have an answer. So before we leave in this show, are you doing a show tomorrow? Anything?
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah. I usually do my Saturday show. Yeah. So it'll be the same old crazy stuff.
So Bob's doing a show on Saturday. And then Bob, I'll talk to you over the weekend to see if you have time to jump on. One guy wants to do a paranormal show, but he can only do Mondays. So if
Monday
you're
sounds
available, you're available. If you can't, you can't.
Monday sounds good.
And it's paranormal talk. Could be about investigation. So if any of you in the chat are into like investigations of house hauntings and all that, I got a guy just tell us about his experience. Kind of like when we had Clown on. I like to hear different people's stories because that's when you learn a lot. So that's it, everybody. And I do have a guest coming on next Friday from a girl from Paranormal TV. She's a fantastic person. She's been doing paranormal talk for 4 to 5 years. So she's not a new person. Very polite, very nice. She agreed to come on next Friday. And she's a very good person because this person actually had to fight through cancer and stuff and got through it.
Wow.
And she's dealing with paranormal stuff and everything. So it's kind of be a fun, good-hearted show next Friday.
Yeah.
So
they're asking for my channel. So someone put my link in there. I don't have it.
Well, hold on. Let me go here. I'll get your link.
Oh, you always put the links. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me find it real quick so people can.
Now, my shows, guys, are for people that have been watching me since 2016. We do it's a coding show, so it's hard for people to keep up if you haven't been there. So don't get mad and just know we do codes. So just prepare to play the game. It's a game.
I found it right here.
Yeah.
I found it right here. So this is popping it up on the screen. So there it is. That's Bob's channel.
Yeah.
So check it out. He does his show on Saturday. Now you do it usually on a Pacific time. I see you on around 8 p.m. on a Pacific time.
Yeah.
I know you do from Manchester, UK, so times are way different than.
Yeah, it's usually about 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, my time over here when we do it. Again, I usually have a guest that comes on that does kind of like a living game. We break codes down. We do a lot of code breaking, a lot of number stuff.
People, don't ask who she is, where she came from, because Bob won't even tell me.
No, I'm not telling nobody.
This is a secret person. He will never tell anybody where this person's from. So, guys, don't even ask. He won't even tell me. I know Mike from Nikita always asks you. And I was like, Mike, he doesn't even tell me.
I only get a notice myself. I usually get a notice at a time saying, hey, are you in for Saturday? Yeah, I've got some stuff I want to talk about. That's the end of it. And then we have the conversation. So I learn new things as you guys learn new things on Saturdays. Again, it's mostly for the gamers, the living gamers that like to see the certain codes. It's hard to explain. You have to watch one. Watch an old one, see what it's like. You'll see what it is.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. And thank you for watching, people. Have a nice day.
So blind and the hour is nearing midnight.